One of the most important things that you need to learn how to do while you're still in this realm is to actually disconnect from it. Because reality is happening in the mind. And what that means is that no matter where you find yourself, there will still be reality. You'll still be having an experience. When you're dreaming, you're having an experience. And you can suffer in your dreams. But imagine if you were able to have an experience, whether you're having an experience in your dream, whether you're having an experience in this realm, whether you're having an experience in an afterlife. Imagine if you were able to detach yourself from the experience and become more like an observer. Imagine. We don't know where we're going after this. We don't know what kind of BS we'll be dealing with after this. A lot of people are hopeful. They believe that they will find themselves in a place that's better than this. It's good to be hopeful, but the truth is we don't know what we'll be dealing with after this. So if you do not train yourself to be able to detach yourself from the experience that you are having and become more like an observer, if we find ourselves in a place that's worse than this, how are you going to be? There are a lot of things that happen that affect us deeply. Things that we have no control over. Because in this room, we don't really have control. In fact, the more you try to control things, the more things do not work in your favor. Ever realize that? If you try to control a situation, like, yeah, I gotta make things happen in my favor, a lot of things go wrong. You find yourself ruining things more, trying to make things work in your favor. So in a room where we don't have control, should we allow the things that are happening to affect us deeply? What if the only real work that you need to be doing is detaching yourself, disconnecting from this room while you're still in it, while you're still seeing things happening? Some people think that, when they pass on, that's it, they'll be good because they won't be dealing with the same BS. But we don't know what's going to happen after this. But what I do know is that if you train yourself to detach yourself, there are things that are happening in your life that you're not detaching yourself from. See, whatever you feed becomes bigger and stronger. Whatever you don't feed becomes weaker. There are situations that you're dealing with that you are giving a lot of energy to. And because of that, you are suffering a lot. Some people are addicted to thoughts that make them feel unhappy. maybe someone has done something wrong to you. Whenever you think about them, you feel angry. But when you think about them, you continue to think about them. You don't say to yourself that, okay, I don't like thinking about this person, let me think about something else, and then you think about something else. No, you continue to think about that person. How can they be like that? You know? Yeah, some people are really evil. Some people are really dumb. Some people don't deserve to be with other people. They should be, you're fooling, like what you're actually doing is you're feeding something that's gonna come back and haunt you. That's what you'll be doing. You'll be feeding something that will come back and haunt you. What you must notice is that if you truly focus on the thoughts that make you feel good, like 100%, 100%, after a week you would feel better. So you disconnect. What I've realized is that the thoughts that make us feel bad are very, very powerful, and I think that's because we were trained to always want to solve problems, right? We were trained to want things to work out the way that we want them to work out. So if they don't work out the way that we want them to work out, we ask ourselves a lot of questions. So that's why we focus on negative thoughts. Let's say a relationship doesn't work. You think a lot about it, like, but what did I do wrong? Oh, okay, I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have done this. You're focusing a lot on something that doesn't make you feel good, and you're feeding it. I was explaining to someone what I believe about what we call archons, what we call demons, what we call the demiurge, because they were asking me, if God didn't create us and this was created by our subconscious, then where do the archons come from? Because when you look at the way that the world works, you can see that, of course, there are these entities that are feeding off negative energy. I told this person that, hey, I think when we allow negative thoughts to dominate, and when I say negative thoughts, I don't mean thoughts that are based on truth. Like realizing the truth about people, and because once you realize the truth about something, you don't need to think about it a lot, right? Yes, it's gonna hurt when you discover the truth about something, but that's it. I'm talking about thoughts that make us feel negative emotions, thoughts that we keep on. Whenever these thoughts come to our attention, we don't let them go. We focus on them. So what I'm realizing is that we create these entities. The same way that someone who has schizophrenia will create something that scares them. Are they conscious? No. They rely on us for their survival, but you create them when you feel negative emotions. That's why you must focus on things that make you feel positive emotions all the damn time. Whenever you catch yourself thinking something that makes you feel negative emotions, let it go right away. It needs to get to a point where you are so good at this that a thought that makes you feel negative emotion doesn't even last for like 2 seconds. mom said I was dumb. You just like you look at it like you're on TikTok, right? You're just scrolling. Like you find something that you don't like, you just be like, because it works that way. It works like algorithms. Guys. It works like algorithms. If you focus on these thoughts that are making you feel bad, you're gonna. You see, when you feel negative emotions, what happens is that you start thinking thoughts that are gonna make you feel more negative emotions. I've realized that if I'm in a situation where I'm doing something that I really do not like, and I start to feel negative emotions, I start thinking thoughts that make me feel more negative emotions. Now that's when I'll be thinking about all the negative shit that's been happening in my life. Like, oh, I was betrayed by this person. Damn, some people suck. I'm broke right now. I don't even have money. You start to think negative thoughts because you've already opened the door for these thoughts. You're attracting these thoughts because of how you feel. So whenever you think a thought that doesn't make you feel good, scroll or swipe. However you want to. You can even do this. Don't end. Like, let this shit go. I'm not gonna think about it. It's not worth my energy. The problem is that we weren't trained on how to deal with our subconscious, how to deal with our thoughts. Like the system didn't care about that because they knew they would benefit a lot. When we grow up and we're unable to process our emotions, we are depressed, they're going to make a lot of money. We are living in fear. They're going to make a lot of money. All they were interested in was creating slaves, and that's it. It's weird that they didn't teach us philosophy when we were young. It's really, really weird, They only taught us mathematics because they knew that that's what they wanted. They wanted us to know math so that they can use it. But he didn't teach us the correct way to think, the correct way to, deal with our problems, the correct way to deal with our own minds. They didn't teach us that. So we're learning as we get older, and it's not easy because we're constantly getting hurt. If we were doing the right things as a collective from the beginning, we would have actually mastered the art of detachment. We would have actually mastered the art of thinking in a way that makes you feel good. You find that you no longer feel bad because of your own thoughts. But sometimes you might find that you don't really have a serious problem in your life, but then you feel bad because of your own thoughts. You can't control your own thoughts. You just find yourself thinking negative thoughts, and then you feel bad. So you gotta learn to scroll. Like, okay, this is a bad thought. Because when you focus on negative thought, you know what it's like? It's like if you put your hand on a stove that's turned on and it hurts, but you don't remove your hand because you're going to cause a lot of damage. Just that we are very resilient, like emotionally we're very, very resilient. But that's exactly how it is. When you feel bad, it means something is wrong. If you step on something and you feel pain, you don't continue to step on it. You must remove that thing quickly. But when it comes to how we deal with our thoughts, you can think a negative thought, a thought that is hurting. And let me say this: it's not always that what we call negative thoughts that are gonna make you feel negative emotions. Sometimes a thought that people feel like is positive thought can still make you feel negative emotions. It's a thought that's not in alignment with your truth. And what I like about people who watch my videos is that they're interested in the truth. So their truth will most likely be the truth. You can think that Jesus is gonna save you, and you don't feel good, because well, there is no Jesus that's gonna save nobody. So you feel bad because of that. Like it seems like a positive thought, but it's not, because you are already on a level where you appreciate truth. So even lies are negative, right? If you reach a level of consciousness where only truth is positive, you're doing the right thing. So when you hear a lie, it doesn't make you feel good, and you just scroll. If we do not teach ourselves to disconnect from this realm while we're still here, I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy for us to deal with whatever is next. Like, it needs to get to a point that no matter what this realm does, bruh, you do not feel negative emotions, because you don't allow yourself to feel negative emotions. You see, you've already focused on realizing what the truth is, so nothing is really going to shock you anymore. You've already suffered, realizing the truth about how things work in this realm. All you need to do is focus on the thoughts that make you feel good. You think about a person, you feel good thinking about them, you continue to think about them. There are few people that I've been friends with, or that I've been in relationship with, or that I know. When I think about them, I feel good, Be like, yeah, that ex of mine, yeah, she was good. She was a good girl. I was still a dumbass, but yeah, she was a good girl. That one. No, that friend of mine, the guy that I used to be friends with, yeah, he was cool, man. Then you think of someone that you do not like, someone who didn't treat you well. Just be like, phew. You don't even think about them. Just whatever you do not feed will die. What will happen eventually is that even when in the future you think about them, you feel nothing, because you weren't feeding this negative energy that your emotions will generate when thinking about that person. You know what I mean? This thing is happening in the mind. Learn to heal your own mind. Don't focus more on changing the world. You can't change this shit. You can't change this shit. Focus more on working on your own mind. There's a lot going on in your mind. If you don't focus on that, even if, and this is super important, even if things change in your life and you find yourself having a positive experience, you will still suffer in your own head. But if you can heal your mind, even when things are not going your way, you will not suffer that much. You just know that it's a hell room, because, well, it is. Learn to not dwell on thoughts that don't make you feel good. Because the more you dwell on these kind of thoughts, the more you vibrate lower. The more you, I would like to look at consciousness as, you can look at consciousness the same way you look at a glass like full of water. These negative thoughts that make you feel negative emotions, they make you sink. And when When you go lower, that's when it will be hard for you to, go back up and float, right? So yeah, look at it as if, like, picture a glass of water and you put something that sinks. Like the deeper it goes, the harder it will be for it to go back up. So look at it that way. The more you think these negative thoughts, you allow them to eat your mind, because they're like parasites. They generate these entities that are like parasites. So it's like they're stealing your energy somehow. So the more you allow them to do that, the weaker you become, the more you sink. But if you don't allow them, if you do not feed them, they start to starve. And they will try. When they're starving, they'll become desperate. They will try to bring you down, but they will fail if you take this video seriously. Like, it's one of the most important videos that I've made. Last night I had many different dreams. About the same people. I didn't like the dreams. Now I was realizing it's because of how much energy I invested on those people. You see, if I teach myself to detach myself, not think about them, it gets to a point where I heal my energy completely. Now when I think about them, I won't feel negative emotions because I'm no longer feeding the demons that came out of that. I often tell people that when we mistreat one another, we give one another demons. And a lot of people do not realize that. Like, if you mistreat a person, you give them demons. You are bewitching them. If you scam a person, you're giving them demons. If you steal from a person, you're giving them demons. If you insult a person, you're giving them demons. If you betray a person, you're giving them demons. If you shout at a person, you're giving them demons. When they think about you, they will be feeding these demons, right? So whenever they think about you, they'll be feeding these demons, until they become very powerful. That's why there's some people who really, really hate you. They don't ever want to see you because of how you treated them. And you might not have meant to treat them badly, but they didn't find a way to starve these demons that you created for them. You see? So now they really hate you. So it's good to treat people well, but even if people don't treat us well, we must make sure that we do not feed the demons that they give us. Because if we feed these demons, it's us who are going to suffer. Because you are in your own world. So look at it that way. This is your universe, bruh. You are the one who's viewing life the way that you're viewing it. That is why I've made a video on solipsism yesterday. I want you to look at yourself as if you are the only one here, like as if you're the main character, than to give other people a lot of power, because that's the most logical way to think when you think about it. Like, it's not illogical to actually think you're the only one here, right? It's not illogical. It's actually the most logical way to think. So when you do not feel good, go deep within and figure out why you're not feeling good. Yes, it's a hell realm, but just because it's a hell realm doesn't mean that you can't feel better. It's like if you were in a fight, right? Let's say you were in a fight with someone. Just because you're in a fight doesn't mean that you cannot win. And sometimes people feel defeated. Like, yeah, I'm in a hell realm. That means I'm defeated. Like, there's no way. No. If you're in a fight, you can still win. You just have to figure out how to fight. And now I'm teaching you how to fight. If there's a person that you fought before and they whooped your ass, and then you decided to find someone who can coach you, you'll probably be better than you were when you fought them the first time. And you might have a good chance of winning. So just because this is a hell realm doesn't mean that you must give up. Be like, it's a hell realm, there is no way out. Bad things are gonna keep on happening, this and that. Don't be what's the word? Pessimistic for the sake of being pessimistic, right? Because some people can be pessimistic for the sake of being pessimistic. Like they could never see things going well for them or for other people. Like they always expect the worst, as if it's impossible for things to kind of work out for them. It's a hell realm, that is true, but it doesn't mean that the worst will always happen. I've told you that hope for the best, expect the worst, but it doesn't mean that the worst is always going to happen. Just know that, in a hell realm, you can win and you can be defeated. There are situations in our lives that can defeat us, but they don't end up defeating us. Challenges that can defeat us, that don't end up defeating us. Challenges that can make you just give up completely. Challenges that can make you go to drugs. But if you keep on training yourself well, you can find yourself conquering these challenges. The key is detaching yourself from thoughts that do not serve you. You can even become sick because you're always, feeling bad because of the negative thoughts that you're thinking. I understand that some people have experienced so much negativity that they don't even know what the heck to think about. Like that sucks. It's a whole room. So that does happen. You find that your life was full of negativity, like betray, like all the fucked up things that you can think of. They've experienced all of that. They don't even have people that they can think about and be like, yeah, there was a good person. Everyone just sucked in their lives. I know that. But we must try our best to avoid negative thoughts. If you can find yourself not really thinking about a lot, then that's even better. You see, when you're not thinking, actually, I feel like you have. That's when you're truly powerful. Like when you're not thinking a lot, I think that's when you're truly powerful. And when you are thinking a lot, sometimes you do open a door for these thoughts that don't make you feel good. Sometimes you open a door for these thoughts that do not make you feel good. So let these thoughts that do not make you feel good pass whenever they come. They will always come. The archons need to eat, bruh. They need to eat. So these thoughts will always come. sometimes when you least expect them. You could be having a good time and then a negative thought come into your mind. Now it's up to you. Do you let it ruin your moment, and then now you start to dwell in these negative thoughts that are making you feel bad, or when that negative thought comes, you continue to think about what's making you feel good. You must do whatever you can to distract yourself from negative thoughts. If it means you gotta look at the clouds and be like, what the fuck are they made of? What the fuck are they made out of, these things? You look at the blue sky, like, is it really blue? Or why does it seem blue? And is it dark? Is it like, just ask yourself stupid questions. Anything to distract yourself from thinking these thoughts that are making you drown, you see? What's the name of the car that's passing? How did they even figure out how to build cars? I'd like to own a car one day. Like, you see, you're distracting yourself. But what we usually do when a negative thought comes into our attention, and then we get an anxiety attack, you start to focus on that negative thought. Like, hey, yeah, but that person, they shouldn't have done what they've done. Hi. You see what you'd be doing to yourself. But if that negative thought comes and you're like, phew, I wonder when the new season of Invisible is coming out. I actually like Conquest. I can't wait for Thrag. I can't wait to see who voiced Thrag. You know what I mean? You're just distracting yourself. You can bet this. I'm telling you. You can bet this. Do it, like, from now on, right? I'd advise you to watch this video until the end. But once you're done watching this video, never allow a negative thought to steal your attention. As soon as you catch yourself thinking a negative thought, let it go. You don't even need to think twice. Let it go. It'll get to a point where you are so good at letting go of these negative thoughts that you don't feel negative thoughts anymore. Like, you don't think negative thoughts anymore. You don't experience negative emotions anymore. Because really, it's all in the mind, right? You feel negative emotions because of what you think. You feel negative emotions really because of what you think, more than what you experience. A lot of people think that they feel negative emotions because of what they experience. No, it's because of what you think about what you're experiencing. You can completely detach yourself from things. Like, the worst thing could happen and you completely detach yourself from it until it goes. I mean, I do understand that there's some situations that forces you to focus on them because they need to be fixed. I get that. But most of the situations that are making you feel negative emotions, most of the situations that make you feel negative emotions, you can't really do anything about these situations. You don't need to fix the situations. And you gotta be very good at letting go. The reason why is because we find ourselves in toxic situations and we do not let go, and we open a door for all these negative thoughts, and it's gonna be much harder for us to detach ourselves from these negative thoughts because there will be a lot. See, the more you find yourself in toxic situations, the harder it will be for you to let go of these negative thoughts, because they will dominate your mind. You find that that's all you think about, it's negative thoughts, right? So now there's nothing to think, because it's negative thoughts. There's nothing positive that you can think, because you've allowed your mind to be dominated with negative thoughts because you stayed in toxic situations. So you gotta be very good at letting go and not looking back. Look at reality as a mind game. Don't focus more on what's happening outside. Focus on what's happening internally. I'm telling you, you will be able to heal your mind. Because it sucks to, you know what I mean? Like, imagine, bro, like the world sucks already, and now you're not even good internally. So not only are you dealing with the BS that's happening in the world, you're also dealing with something internal. So try your best to be fearless, to be able to let go and trust yourself, to be able to put the right kind of effort to replace what was taken from you or what you've lost. Like, some people just don't believe in themselves. When I've communicated with people who are very capable of turning things around in their own lives, but they not doing anything because they are afraid. They are afraid. They just feel like they can't. It's impossible. But you find that they really can. Like, if I've given you this example before, I was in Pretoria. I didn't have money to go back to Joburg, and it was late. It was around 6. I didn't have a cent. I might have made more than $100 in 15 minutes approaching people. But on a normal day, if you say make $100 just approaching people and asking for their help, it will be very hard for me to do that. What does that tell you? It tells you that I'm more capable of what I don't think I'm capable of. Maybe I'm too comfortable sometimes. And if you're gonna be too comfortable, you will stay in toxic situations, bruh, and create more demons for yourself and suffer a lot because of that. So you need to be courageous. You need to be fearless. I'm telling you, do not be afraid. Ever, do not be afraid. Always make sure that you are acting from a place of strength. Always. We need to beat this hell realm once and for all, right? And I'm telling you, it's really all in the mind. The realm itself is hellish, that is true, but your suffering is caused by how you respond to it. Like, you are being shown a horror movie. You could take the movie so damn seriously that you now focus on these characters that are making you scared. Or you can be like, it's just a movie, and let me just focus on what I like than what scares me. I like this character. I like the main character. Let me focus on the main character than focusing on the thing that scares me. It's a lot of work. It's not easy. I know some of y'all might be saying to yourself that, it's not easy. Like, Benedict, you make it seem like it's easy. It's not easy, but it's your own mind. You gotta find a way to heal your own mind. It doesn't mean just because it's not easy you must not fight. It's a hell realm, bruh. Like, but we mustn't allow it to bully us that much. If there are things that we can do to set ourselves free, let's do these things. It's important that we do what we can to heal ourselves. It's really important that we do what we can to heal ourselves. If you do nothing to heal yourself, like you expect you expect something outside of you to heal you, or for healing to occur naturally. But it's not going to occur naturally because you'll keep on hurting yourself. So you're not going to heal. My thumb is healing. Can you imagine if maybe I hit something with my thumb? Boom. It'd take much longer to heal. Now I feel better. Yesterday I was not. I was feeling so much pain because it was cold. I think it was the weather. But now I feel better. It's healing. But I think there's blood inside. Know that the world that we live in this world that we live in, they didn't teach us how to deal with our emotions, how to deal with our thoughts. And that's one of the biggest, let me not call it a mistake, but that's one of the worst things that they've done to us. They made us focus on things that don't really matter, other than making us focus on things that actually matter, because mental health is really important, in the hell room. It's really, really, really important. But no, they were teaching us to memorize stuff, teaching us to label things, teaching us to compete with one another. When you had a problem, they didn't really tell you what you needed to do internally to get rid of that problem. Like, yo, you have a problem? Oh, someone bullied you? Okay, we'll beat them. I hated how dumb my teachers were when I was growing up. So if a kid bullies you and then you report that kid to your teacher, don't just beat that kid. That kid is going to wait for you after school. Like, it ought to be like they didn't know what they really needed to do to get rid of. But like, a lot of teachers are not well trained, bruh. Like, they throw you in this situation. They throw kids in situations where they can be traumatized for life. Because kids are mean, bruh. Kids are mean. They haven't learned how to be polite in this realm, right? That's what you must realize. They have not learned how to be polite in this realm. So they're going to be honest. They're going to, if they feel like you're weak, as a kid, they're going to treat you badly. If there's something about you they don't like, they're going to treat you badly. If they feel like you're a target, they're going to treat you badly. So can you imagine a kid growing up getting bullied like crazy? It's going to be hard for them to heal. And if the teachers are not telling them how to process their emotions, how to think right, how to defend themselves, what do you think is going to happen? There's this video that I watched and I liked the video. I came across this video on TikTok. So there's this kid who was getting bullied a lot at school, and he told his dad, and his dad invited all his biker friends. They went to the school and they picked the kid up in front of every other kid. Guess what happened? All of a sudden the kid is cool. All of a sudden everyone wants to be that kid's friend. Brilliant, right? But our parents didn't know how to deal with bullies. If it means you gotta be crazy as a parent, be crazy, all right? Other kids must know that you're fucking crazy. I mean, your kids' friends, they must know that you're really crazy as a parent, that no one touches my kid. If your kid cannot defend themselves, they will learn to defend themselves as time goes on. But if they keep on getting bullied, they might now end up not learning how to defend themselves. Now, this reminds me of this story in Game of Thrones of this guy that got abused by this other guy. Just that I've watched it a long time ago. He was at first the guy was a warrior, he was a fighter. He got captured by this other guy, and then this guy tortured him, made him do things that no human should do, and then he ended up just being a bitch. He was able to brainwash him, make him believe that he's nothing. So yeah, if your kid is getting bullied 24/7, the kid might end up believing that they're nothing. That's why we have a lot of adults who are living in fear. And I'm telling you, you have to conquer your fear. Even if you've been bullied like a lot, you have to. You have to. Because you're going to suffer a lot if you let fear control you. Most of y'all know what you need to be doing, but you're not brave enough. You need to be brave. You need to do things that make you feel uncomfortable if you know that's what you got to do. Don't always do things that make you feel comfortable, because you're going to suffer. You're going to pay for not being brave in this realm, bruh. You're going to pay straight up. You're going to pay for not being brave. A lot of people are paying for not being brave. What I like about being brave is that it doesn't take a lot of effort. You just need to make a choice. You're in a situation where you can be brave or you can be fearful. Like, okay, the bravest thing to do in this situation is this. If that's what I want to do. I mean, yes, you don't always have to be brave. You don't always have to do something, But many people have found themselves in situations where they knew they had to do something and they did nothing. And they ended up suffering. So be brave. Pick your thoughts, 100%. Do not hold back. Do not hold back. Do not ever hold back. When these negative thoughts come, fight with them. Try to imagine a demon. Like, whenever these negative thoughts come, maybe imagine a very ugly demon that's trying to attack you. And when these beautiful thoughts come, maybe imagine something beautiful. Associate these beautiful thoughts with an object that's beautiful. Maybe that's gonna help. But you gotta fight, man. It's a hell realm. There isn't much that we can do about that, but there's a lot that we can do internally to cope better in this place. You'd find that after a week, after a month, after a year, you are vibrating higher, bro. Like, you don't even feel anything yet, because some people, you could see that they are suffering. You can even see it in their faces that they are actually suffering, and it's their thoughts. You find that because now people don't live in big families. People don't live very complicated. I mean, yeah, if you work a job that you hate, that's a problem. But even at your job, you usually work alone. You find that you are alone with your laptop. Yes, you might have a shitty boss, but you're not with that person all the time. And you can keep on trying to focus on positive thoughts, even when that boss is not treating you right, and still also learn to defend yourself. Like I was telling you, that you need to be brave. And you will notice that you are able to focus more on the things that you want to focus on. You are able to think more clearly, and you are able to make better decisions. So know that your mind is your own, right? And if you are thinking thoughts that are making you feel bad, you're doing something wrong, because it's your own mind, right? It's not your parents' mind, it's not your friend's mind, it's not Jordan Peterson's mind, it's not God's mind. You God, but it's your mind. It's your mind. So whatever gets to happen in your mind, try to take control. I told you that, yeah, we can't control this realm. It's a bad place, but we can control our own minds. Controlling your own mind, yes, it's gonna take time for you to figure out how to truly control your mind, but if you keep on working on that, I'm telling you. So let's do that together. That's what I've been working on, and I feel myself dealing with. I can see myself dealing with situations much better than I used to deal with them. There are some situations that I've had to deal with recently that would have made me weaker, right? But they weren't able to make me weaker because of the techniques that I'm using. Trying to deal with my subconscious. You gotta live life as if you're meditating all the damn time. Like, I think the Buddhists call it mindful living, right? Like, every thought, like, don't focus more on what's happening externally. Focus more on what's happening internally. Focus more on that, so that you're always ready. You're protecting your energy. You're protecting your mind from these archons that are trying to make you suffer so they can get energy from you. You're protecting your mind, you see. So when they use negative situations, they will, bruh. They know your weaknesses. They know your weaknesses. Remember, they were created from your weaknesses. So they feed off your weaknesses. So they know your weaknesses. 100%. They know how to get you. But you can be so fucking strong that they can't. They try different methods, they can't, and then they start to starve, and then they die. And when they do die, don't try your best to not put yourself in situations where they can be resurrected. Like, try your best to protect your energy. And you realize that just because we're in a hell room doesn't mean that we can't set ourselves free. And you'll also be preparing yourself for whatever is next. Because if this was bad, we don't know what comes after this. Thank you, guys.